Hello, my name is Alan Fernandez, and today I'm going to be discussing my take on what the two terms rewilding and novel ecosystems mean to me personally. So, to start off, I think the term rewilding means, in a sense, fixing up the environment and trying to bring it back to its original state. And by this, I mean bringing back plants and animals of a specific area that maybe weren't growing or they got killed off or something. Just bringing those species or plants back into the area through various types of efforts. And another thing that goes along with it, I think, would also be taking down fences, because I feel like sometimes fences around land is kind of like a barrier. It pushes down the grass and doesn't allow it to grow up and flourish. And I just think that taking them down would really allow the land to repurpose itself and just get better. In the term of rewilding, I also want to talk about how, in a sense, it's about mass restoration of ecosystems, because it's basically what it is. That's how I see it. An example that I did learn about was about Yellowstone National Park and how whenever they reintroduced wolves into the area, it gave life to many others. And by that, I'm saying that wolves changed the flow of water. They were able to allow plants to grow, and new species were starting to come into the area, which ultimately allowed Yellowstone National Park to grow and get bigger, but also become a healthy ecosystem. Because I feel like sometimes ecosystems struggle just because sometimes things can get out of control, but then you also don't want to do too much human interference with it because you still want to keep it wild. And also sometimes we humans, we do mess things up, is what I really think we do, because sometimes when we're trying to do something with good intentions, it always doesn't portray like that. Next, I do want to talk about the other term I did mention, which is a novel ecosystem. So to me personally, I think a novel ecosystem is an area that was previously exposed to the interference of humans. So humans, basically, they had interfered from the beginning, but is now just kind of left deserted and it's just left to do its own thing. I think these ecosystems, I know they weren't created for like this sole purpose. They probably had other plans for them, but sometimes things don't always work out. But the animals in the areas always repurpose the areas by utilizing various factors around them. I know noble ecosystems are probably not very appealing, because I've seen one at work and it's just kind of like, that's ugly. Like, you want it to get cleaned up, but once you actually go firsthand to see them and it's right in front of you, you're able to see like, wow, you know what? It's not very appealing, but there's so much life and diversity in these areas that it's crazy. I do suggest y'all go try and find one, because they're around everywhere. I have one right here in my apartment complex as well. But a way that I like to see novel ecosystems is, in a sense, how bees pollinate plants, because bees carry pollen to different areas and spread it around. And by this, I mean that, like, how sometimes whenever bees pollinate plants, their pollen can get into different areas that weren't meant to, which cause species of plants to grow that probably aren't native to that area, but yet they still grow. And also, these ecosystems also allow for a diverse species of animals and plants, like I did say previously, but they're able to grow and flourish more just because they're not being managed by us humans, because like I said, we sometimes kind of mess things up, not intentionally, but we do. But novel ecosystems are also known to function better than native ecosystems, actually. I did do some research over it just because I wanted to get a better grasp of the concept. But I did learn that they sometimes function better than native ecosystems, but they also provide basic necessities to animals, such as food, And they also include obviously food webs and food chains, and they maintain the flow of energy with the help of the carbon cycle, water cycle, and nitrogen, and obviously oxygen cycle. But I did want to talk about an example, which is the one that I did talk a little bit about, which is at work. So there's like a little deserted area at work, and it just has like bird poop all over, but there's a lot of plants and animals that aren't native, but they make up a whole community. Thank you.